So, Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen Muhammadin al-Amin amma ba'd. Today I'm going to talk quickly, inshallah, and make a lot of points. Look, there is a big problem. I don't know if people know this, but abortion has a lot to do with magic, which I'm going to talk about. But before I talk about how abortion has to do with magic, let me tell you what's happening in the Muslim world. What's happening in the Muslim world is the mainstream Muslims that are politically active, right? The Muslims used to, a lot of them, be Republican, but because after 9/11, you know, the Democratic Party supposedly is the party of the minorities, even though they're the party of the black people, the Mexican people, the homosexuals, all the minorities, yet they've never ever really ever did anything for any of them. They've never done anything for the black people except for the gays and lesbians and those people who don't know what gender they really have. Okay. The reason I say this is because we have politicians like Omar Ilhan, okay? Abortion is a constitutional right. We're going to make sure it stays that way. Now, that sounds good on the outset of it, right? But it is very problematic Islamically, because Islam is not okay to make it public that people can kill babies whenever they want. Yeah, there are some exceptions. Somebody got raped or the mother's health and so on and so forth, but it is haram to kill babies. The Quran has many verses in the Quran about killing babies. There are many verses in Quran about the people of Lut alayhi salatu wasalam. But what is happening is teenagers are growing up, a whole generation is growing up, looking at scholars, looking at Omar Ilhan, looking at scholars and Omar Ilhan sitting together, talking together, having protests with the LGBT community, with the people that are pro-life. Okay, having discussions with them. So, you know, a whole generation is being confused because you have these people wearing Islamic symbols confusing the next generation. And also, of course, it's liberalism, so it sounds good, it looks good, but it's completely and completely against the ethos of Islam. Okay, and so let me just quickly share here, you know. So this lady, right, she's there with her headscarf. Other than the headscarf, there's not much more in terms of Islamic clothing. But, you know, this is Omar Ilhan in her, and she's, you know, one of the congresswomen that, you know, comes in with this, you know, she started with this whole pro-Palestinian anti-Israel stance in the beginning, by which Muslims voted her in, and now she fights for the LGBT rights, right? And she fights for the rights. Omar Ilhan throws support behind LGBT Palestinian group. So now she started off getting votes from Muslims and from the public, and what happens now? She wants to promote the LGBT and the queer group in Palestine. Okay. And so this is what she's doing over there, right? But the problem here is you have a whole generation looking at this person who is supposed to represent Muslims in the public going against the entire ethos of Islam. Now, that's not the only problem, of course, right? Now, Omar Ilhan and majority of the Muslims in America belong to what party? To the party of the donkey. Okay, this is what they do. They belong to the people of the donkey. Now, the Quran tells us about the people of the elephant, which is the other party, and then you have the two-party dictatorship. You have the donkey on the one side, the elephant on the other side. So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us about the donkey, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ حُمِّلُوا التَّوْرَاةِ. Those people that were entrusted to uphold the teachings of Torah, right? Like, for example, the 10 Commandments. For example, you will not kill people. You will honor the family life. You will honor your parents. And so those people that were told to uphold the 10 Commandments and what it implies, مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ حُمِّلُوا التَّوْرَاةِ. Those people that were told to hold on to the Torah, ثُمَّ لَمْ يَحْمِلُوهَا, then they didn't hold on to its trust. كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ. They're like, the example is like the donkey, right? يَحْمِلُ أَسْفَارًا. They just have, it's like a donkey with pages on it. It has good ideals. They say good things, they have good words, but, you know, they're like a donkey at the end of the day. They make a lot of noise, just like the donkey, but they don't do nothing. The donkey is lazy and makes a lot of noise. What a evil example of a people who've denied the signs of Allah. And of course, the donkey is also what party? It is the party of the atheists. And that's where majority of the Muslims in America have aligned themselves today. Wallahu la yahdi al-qawm al-zalimin. And the situation of the Muslims today is they've gone down the lizard's hole. Wallahu, and Allah does not yahdi qawm al-zalimin. Allah does not guide unjust people. Because once you are siding with the LGBT, and once you're siding with the atheists, and once you are siding with the people of the donkey, and once you're okay with human sacrifices of babies, abortion, and yes, you know, Islam says there are some exceptions where you don't do abortions, but as what has happened after 1959, after the birth control pill happened, you know, this whole pleasure-based, hedonistic way of living only for pleasure and not responsibility, and breaking up the family social system of America, the family system of America, and the Muslims for that matter. That's what's happened. And what this Ilhan and the people that are with her, the Shiekh and the Sheikhs and the ulama that are with her and support her, and give her kind of credibility, even though the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Man masha ma'a zaliman liyuqawwiyahu fa akhraja min al-Islam." Whoever stands with a wrongdoer in order to strengthen them has left the circle of Islam. This is what the Prophet said. I hope, you know, Sheikh Omar Suleiman is listening to me. Okay, I hope Sheikh, the other Shiekh that dance around Ilhan, because she's a congresswoman, are listening to me, because you have put the entire generation of Muslims in America in jeopardy. And this has largely happened because of Ilhan and those people that are around her and support her, because you have Muslims looking up to this person that's wearing a hijab that's taking them down the wrong path. Okay? It's trickery, it's deception, it's not true hijab. Okay? Anyway, so she belongs to this donkey party, right? And what is happening is she's allowing, okay, she stands with the right of abortion, as she says here. Abortion is a constitutional right. We're going to make sure it stays that way. And then what? Let me tell you how bad this is. Couple kill baby in black magic ritual. This happened in Pakistan, by the way. Okay, and this lady and those that are with him, including Sheikh Omar Suleiman, they're what? They're okay with these rituals of killing babies. And they will never stand up against the Democratic Party and say, no, this is wrong, this is immoral. Okay? And they didn't want to take the hard way, which was to convince the Christians of America that we have a lot more similarity with you. Black magic murder of infant, 18-month-old kidnapped and thrown into a well. This sounds very basic, but let me go back to this and I'll tell you more about the magic. You know, and then all these protests that they have. I stand with Planned Parenthood. Every Muslim country is talking about having less kids. Don't take away my birth control, right? Don't take away my right for abortion. This is the type of mothers that are... What type of mother is it that has killed her own child? And yes, a baby is a living being from the moment of conception. And from the moment of conception, the baby has right to its inheritance, even though the ruh is not in it. Even though the ruh is not in it, but it is a living being. And it is going to grow into a human being. And here, if you want to use a miscarriage spell, okay? Miscarriage spells, okay? Is a miscarriage spell a death spell? Okay, and what am I trying to show here? What to expect ordering a miscarriage spell? I'm trying to show you here that this ritual of killing babies that were there at the time of the Prophet, and many verses of Quran about it, has to do with magic, has to do with Satanism. And those people that support it, which is majority of the Muslims in America that stand with the donkey party, majority of the Muslims of America that stand with the donkey party are contributing to this magic. Not only that, they're letting the next generation grow up accepting that this is okay. And they're letting the next generation grow up thinking the LGBT is okay. And because many of them have their friends that are also gays and lesbians, and some of them don't know even their gender, or can't identify with any gender. Then you know what? They're growing up and they're thinking, oh, well, Omar Ilhan is here, and this Sheikh is here, and this Sheikh is here, so it's all good. And it's not all good. It's down the lizard's hole. You're going down the lizard's hole. That's all it is. So let me now share this with you. So you have, for example, here, Omar Suleiman with this Ilhan congresswoman, right? And let me just show you this, for example, this banquet, okay? And then CARE has fallen for a lot of this, which I don't want to talk about right now. But, so you have, Omar Ilhan and Omar Suleiman. Of course, they're popular people. People invite them. I understand that. But has Omar Suleiman ever, or any of the mainstream ulama ever said, wait, this whole democratic thing with the atheists and the LGBT, with the abortion thing that's going on, this is not okay for us to support these things morally. It's not okay. Have they ever said that? They turn a blind eye for supposedly the bigger good. The supposed bigger good that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you that bigger good may not come. When you're supposed to look at the bigger good if it actually exists. There's no existence of an actual good. So you're not allowed to go towards something you don't know. So something, and so it's so problematic because you have a whole generation growing up thinking this is all okay. And other people are accepting it because they think this is the strategy to use. But this is not the way the Prophet did things. The Prophet never compromised his principles. The Prophet never compromised his morality. The problem is Muslims have been led down a very dangerous, a very deceptive, a very dajjali road. And now they're participating. Muslims, majority of the Muslims that vote Democrat are indirectly, what? Supporting the killing and this whole magic-based killing of babies and abortions. And what becomes of a people that kill babies? We're not any moral than the others if we're doing what the majority is doing. If our moral stance is no different than the moral stance of others. And this has all happened. And you know what's important here to keep in mind is that scholars used to come from the East, from Saudi Arabia, from Pakistan, from, different places, and talk to the Muslims in the West. Now that we have homegrown scholars in the West, they're the ones influencing. So we're inviting Western scholars to speak in television in Qatar and in other places, in Pakistan, in different places. Now people that are scholars here have an influence over there. And the scholars over here stand shoulder to shoulder with people like Omar Ilhan, with the donkey party. Would they stand shoulder to shoulder with the LGBT community, shoulder and shoulder with those people that are against abortion and want to continue this social breakdown in hedonism? And Muslims have no sense of Amr bil Ma'ruf, Nahy anil Munkar in their even social justice activities, so-called. Right? They're just part of the system. You're part of the system. You're part of the same Dajjali system. And you're just a controlled opposition. That's all you are. You got the Republicans on one side, you got the Democrats on the other side, and they have some good things and they have some good things, and then you try to juggle between the two good things, but both of them don't meet the prophetic criteria. They don't. And so instead of doing actual politics, which is changing the opinion of the people. How do you change the opinion of the people? Actual grassroots politics. Actual grassroots politics is introducing people to Islam. Introducing them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's actual politics. Not one-issue voters, swinging one-issue voters. Not talking about Islamophobia. Because Islamophobia will be there. How do you change Islamophobia? Not by joining the Democratic Party. Okay, because the Democratic Party, it's better to be in Islamophobia and be in a state of okay, people don't like us. We need to go closer to Allah than to be with the donkeys and compromise your entire Islam for yourself and your next generation, which is what's happening. Before continuing, let me mention this, that please subscribe. Number 2, please read the comment section in the comment section, you'll find a message for me that I've pinned over there. You can also help me donate. You can also join my Telegram group, inshallah ta'ala, if you're interested, and agree with me, of course, in what I'm saying. So please do that. Now let's inshallah continue. So shame on Umar Ilhan for her stances that are anti-Islamic, and shame on those scholars that stand with her. You know, that stand with her and support her like as if she's doing something for Islam. She's doing something for Muslims. Care again, also care. You know, they do good things. They have good Muslims in it, but they're not doing anything for Islam per se. They're doing things for Muslims. They're not that interested in promoting the ideology of Islam. They're more interested in promoting the rights of Muslims. And that rights of Muslims means you love this dunya and you're willing to compromise your principles for those civil rights. And that's what's happened. You've compromised your dunya and you've preserved your civil rights for what? For losing parts and principles of your deen. And that's the sad story. And the story of Muslims in America is going to be terrible, because as the economic collapse happens, Muslims are going to be caught in this country. And they'll have, everything that the parents and the dream, the American dream they came for, as it comes crashing down. Let me remind every Muslim in America this verse of the Quran. إِن مِّن قَرْيَةٍ, there will be no city. Not Chicago, and not New York, not Tokyo, not Islamabad, no, not Riyadh. إِن مِّن قَرْيَةٍ نَحْنُ مُحْلِكُهَا قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ, there will be no city except we will destroy it before the day of judgment. أَوْ مُعَذِّبُهَا عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا, and with a severe punishment. And Muslims are not going to go back to their Muslim countries. And as this country falls, because of what? Because Muslims also participated in that social breakdown. Muslims also participated in that economic injustice. Muslims also participated in killing the babies. Because Muslims also participated in what? In the in this LGBT nonsense. Because Muslims participated in this, we will go down with them. And we will be also punished with them. We will not be like the people of Lut, that where Prophet Allah saved the people of Lut because he was warning the people, don't do this. When the punishment comes, everyone's sinking down. Everyone who didn't stand up for the truth is going to sink down. And that includes, unfortunately, the way it is, the way the Sunnah of Allah is. That's the majority of Muslims in this country. Because the majority of the Muslims in this country have aligned with the donkey. They've aligned with the donkey. They've sold themselves. They have these symbols to fool the people that they represent Islam, but they don't represent Islam. And had they done their homework in America, Christians and Muslims, many of the Christians and Muslims would have been shoulder to shoulder, standing up for the right principles in America. We would have been standing up for the 10 Commandments in America. But because you're on the side of the donkey. And so the blessing and the help of Allah is not going to come. This is a warning to Muslims in America and Muslims in Europe who are siding with the leftist. Siding with those people that supposedly will secure your dunya and your rights and your civil rights and your liberties, but it will come at the cost of standing with people that agree with doing abortion left, right, and center, and people that are LGBT and those people who don't know what their gender is. What do you want me to say? Let me show you again. Okay? Let me show you again. What to expect ordering a miscarriage spell. Do you know, brothers and sisters, that when you do magic, you have to give a sacrifice? When people do magic, they have to give a sacrifice. Maybe you don't know that, but I'm telling you that. Most Raqis will know that. Most Raqis will know that a lot of magic is done so that the couple can't have children. Ask any experienced Raqi more than 5 years, he'll tell you. He's probably met some of these issues where the couple can't have children because of magic. And Muslims are supporting that system, that the human sacrifice that the devil wants. The murder of children. the murder of children. This is where Muslims are today in America.